Well, peak holiday season is still a few weeks away, but there are the stressors and the pressure of festivities that already could be weighing you down.
And how do you get ahead of that stress to make sure that the holidays go smoothly? Mikey Hood is learning some tips in today's Eye on Health.
Preparing for the holiday season can be joyous, but for many, it's overwhelming. So Dr. Anthony Mannarino, Chair of Psychiatry and Behavioral Health at AHN, has some tips to avoid the undue stress. He says there's one really big stressor he sees most often: unrealistic expectations.
Don't let perfect get in the way of good. People, both adults and kids, expect things to be so right, so close to perfect. And with family gatherings and food preparations and buying gifts.
He says it can't be perfect because perfect doesn't exist.
When people expect it to be that way, they're quickly disappointed and frustrated.
Instead, hope for good holidays, not perfect ones where nothing goes wrong. Something else to be ready for are possible disagreements, especially if people bring up topics like politics or vaccinations. He says it's best to redirect the conversation.
For someone to rise up and say, hey, there are differences in how people feel, so why don't we talk about something else?
And if you're on Facebook or the gram long enough, you may start to compare your table setup to someone else's.
Try not to make comparisons, because invariably when people do, you're going to think that what you've done isn't good enough.
Just do what makes you happy. If you feel your stress going up, take action and start self-care.
Go out for a walk, do some mindfulness strategies where you're just kind of thinking quietly.
I've seen a lot of people posting about this when someone loses a family member or they're alone during the holidays. What do they do?
I think lots of families struggle with how to cope with that. Should they bring that person's name up at the dinner, for example, in kind of a memorial way? A lot of families do that, and I personally think that's a good idea. It'll probably bring tears, but it's just people expressing honest emotions of grief.
Other families may choose not to, and that's okay too. And if you're alone, try to connect with other family members or friends, even if it's over the phone.
Just to have a couple of conversations during the day so that you feel a little less isolated.
And right after the holiday, don't forget to rest.
Take some time off, rest up, take good care of yourself so you can recover.
Telling you, it's sometimes the little thing, even putting on Spanx sometimes can be stressful, like when it just starts to pile up, that's like the icing on the cake.
There's a lot of emotion with the holidays, really.
Yeah. Is. So here's a look here. Avoid unrealistic expectations, redirect if disagreements arise, don't make comparisons, practice mindfulness.
Yeah, and I think don't make comparisons, and unrealistic expectations are so important, because people put stress on themselves, like, I gotta make this holiday great. Yeah. I gotta make this memorable. And we should give ourselves a break.
Well, I'm telling you, I say there's one person in every family who is the memory maker.
Yeah.
And it is a stressful job because you want to make sure that everybody is having a happy holiday, and you end up taking the brunt of the responsibility.
Right. You give yourself a break too.
That's right.
Yeah.
Remember to keep watching for our Eye on Health series right here on PTL. It happens on Wednesdays, and it's brought to you by Highmark, Blue Cross Blue Shield, together with Allegheny Health Network for your health.